Have you ever wondered what lies behind the dark curtain of the world we have come to consider safe? Imagine secret rituals being performed in remote caves, ancient abandoned castles, and even in ordinary homes among us. These are not scenes from a horror movie. They are a reality that exists right next door. Satanic cults are not just the invention of conspiracy theorists, but a history that stretches back through the centuries, filled with terrifying rites, sacrifices, and mystical rituals. Why do people join such cults? What do they get in return? And what are the dark forces behind these mysterious communities? Today, we will dive into a world that seems like a fiction to many people, but is a terrible truth. Get ready. What you will hear will make you look at the world with different eyes. Satanic cults have always existed on the edge of human consciousness. They have existed in history, they exist now, and they may always exist. People have always been attracted to mysteries, and mystical powers seem to be the key to gaining power, wealth, or secret knowledge. Let's take a look at some of the most famous satanic cults and their sinister rituals. 1. The Temple of the People, a collective suicide of 900 people. The Temple of the People began as a socialist religious community in the United States, founded by Jim Jones in 1955. It preached equality and social justice, attracting hundreds of followers. In the 1970s, fearing persecution by the government, Jones moved his commune to Guyana, where he established the Johnstown settlement. The atmosphere in the commune was harsh. People worked exhaustingly. They were forbidden to communicate with the outside world, and any discontent was suppressed. In 1978, when journalists and Congressman Leo Ryan visited the settlement to investigate allegations of human rights violations, they were shot on the runway. After that, Jones ordered all members of the sect to commit revolutionary suicide. More than 900 people, including children, drank cyanide mixed with a fruit drink, which gave rise to the phrase "drinking the Kool-Aid" as a metaphor for mindless submission. Jim Jones was killed by a gunshot to the head. 2. The Sun Temple, a cult that believed in the transition to another dimension. The Order of the Sun Temple was a secret society based on the mixed ideas of the Templars, the occult, and New Age philosophy. The cult leaders preached that the earth was doomed to perish, and only the chosen ones could move to a higher spiritual dimension through ritual suicide. In 1994, 53 members of the cult were found dead in Switzerland and Canada, most of them shot or poisoned, their bodies arranged in the shape of a sun symbol. Subsequent waves of mass deaths occurred in 1995 and 1997, with a total of more than 70 people killed. 3. The Manson Family, a cult of killers in Hollywood. Charles Manson was a criminal who created a group of loyal followers, mostly young women. He convinced them that he was a prophet and that the Gelter Skelter, an apocalyptic war between the races, would soon begin. In August 1969, members of Manson's family brutally murdered 7 people, including actress Sharon Tate, who was pregnant. The murders were extremely brutal. The victims were tortured and their blood was used to write words like "pig" on the walls. Manson and his accomplices were sentenced to life in prison. His cult continues to attract attention because of its influence on pop culture and criminal psychology. 4th Aum Shinrikyo, Japanese doomsday cult Aum Shinrikyo, which translates to higher truth, was founded in 1984 by Japanese guru Shoko Asahara. Initially, it was supposedly a spiritual teaching that combined Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity, but over time it turned into a dangerous cult that preached the approaching apocalypse. Asahara declared himself the Messiah, claiming that only his followers would survive the coming catastrophe. In 1995, the sect carried out one of the worst terrorist attacks in Japanese history, releasing sarin nerve gas in the Tokyo subway. 13 people were killed, and more than 6,000 were seriously poisoned. The cult had considerable resources, created biological and chemical weapons, owned a network of secret laboratories, and even sought to obtain nuclear weapons. In the 2000s, its activities were banned, and Asahara and his closest supporters were executed. 5. Temple of Set, a modernized cult of Satanists. The Temple of Set was founded in 1975 by Michael Aquino, a former member of the Church of Satan. He rejected the idea that Satanism was just a philosophy of atheism and began to promote real belief in the god of darkness, Set, whom he considered the true bearer of magical knowledge. Aquino had military experience and connections in high U.S. circles, which gave rise to numerous conspiracy theories. Followers of the cult engaged in rituals that were supposed to expand their consciousness and give them the power to control reality. The cult is still active today, attracting new adherents through books and seminars. Its members believe that they can achieve divine status by using ancient occult knowledge. 6. The Church of the Doomsday Process. This cult emerged in the UK in the 1960s, founded by Mary Ann and Robert de Grimston. Their doctrine claimed that God and Satan are two equal forces that must cooperate to establish a new world order. Members of the cult wore black clothing with swastika-like symbols and performed occult rituals. They believed that humanity would have to go through a period of chaos and destruction, after which a new world would emerge, free of moral constraints. Some associate the cult with Charles Manson, as he maintained contact with some of its members. However, after the 1970s, the Church of the Process fell into decline. Seventh Order of the Golden Dawn, an occult order of secret rituals. This secret order was founded in Great Britain in the late 19th century and is considered one of the most influential occult societies in history. It united aristocrats, scientists, and writers, including the legendary occultist Aleister Crowley. The members of the order studied Cabal, astrology, alchemy, magic, and demonology. They believed that through complex rituals they could achieve supernatural powers and spiritual enlightenment. The order was divided into several levels of initiation, where each stage opened up new knowledge to the adept. Some modern magical practices are still based on their teachings. In 1903, the order collapsed due to internal conflicts, but its legacy continues to influence esoteric movements to this day. 8. Black Order of the Dragon, a Japanese cult of dark magic. The Black Order of the Dragon, Kokuryu-kai, was an organization that operated in Japan from the beginning of the 20th century until the end of World War II. Its members believed that the use of black magic could make them invincible in military conflicts. The order united influential politicians, generals, and spies. They studied ancient Japanese occult practices, used magical rituals to control minds, and even conducted cruel experiments on people. Some historians believe that the Order of the Dragon was linked to the Japanese Secret Service and the experiments of Unit 731, which conducted torture and biological weapons testing. After the war, the order was officially disbanded, but some conspiracy theorists claim that its members continue to operate in secret. The Order of the Nine Corners is a satanic cult with a military doctrine. The Order of the Nine Angles, O9A, is one of the most radical satanic cults that emerged in the UK in the 1960s. Its founders argued that the world needs destruction and that war is a natural selection. The cult actively promoted extremist views and encouraged its adherents to commit crimes, including violence, murder, and terrorism. Some of its members have been involved in actual acts of cruelty. 10 Children of God, a cult of sexual rituals. This cult emerged in the United States in 1968 under the leadership of David Berg. He preached spiritual love, which in reality meant sexual contacts between cult members, including minors. The cult actively attracted new adherents through the method of flirt evangelism, when women had sexual relations with men to recruit them into the sect. Scandals surrounding violence and depraved rituals led to the collapse of the cult. 11. Heaven's Gate, a cult that believed in aliens. This cult appeared in the 1970s in the United States and was founded by Marshall Applewhite. Its adherents believed that the Earth would be destroyed, and the only way to escape was to leave their physical bodies and move to a spaceship. In 1997, 39 members of the cult committed mass suicide, believing that their souls would go to a ship flying after the Hale-Bopp comet. 12. The White Brotherhood, a cult that preached the end of the world. The White Brotherhood was founded in Ukraine in the 1990s by Yuri Krivonogov and Maria Tsvigun, who called herself Mary the Virgin Christ. The cult's leaders predicted the end of the world in 1993 and tried to seize St. Sophia Cathedral in Kiev to conduct an apocalyptic ritual. They urged their followers to sell all their property and prepare for salvation. After the church seizure failed, the cult gradually disappeared. 13th Temple of the Black Light. A cult of chaos worshipped the Temple of Black Light, originally known as the Misanthropic Luciferian Order, is a Swedish occult cult that emerged in the 1990s. It is based on the ideology of dark gnosis, which believes that the universe is ruled by chaos and the true nature of reality is hidden from humanity. Basic beliefs: the universe is an illusion, and the true essence of reality is chaos. Human consciousness is limited, and only through dark rituals can true knowledge be gained. There are 11 dark deities, similar to demons, that control different aspects of the world. Activities and influence. Members of the cult practice demon summoning rituals and strive to achieve superhuman consciousness. The order had a strong influence on the Scandinavian black metal scene, especially among extreme metal musicians. Some members of the cult were suspected of violent crimes and church arson in Sweden and Norway. The cult has long remained mysterious, and its leaders have rarely given interviews or revealed their true intentions. 14. The Rahel Movement, the cult of creator aliens. Raelism is a religious movement founded in the 1970s by French journalist Claude Vorilhon, known as Rael. He claimed that in 1973 he experienced contact with an alien race, the Elohim, who allegedly created humanity through genetic engineering experiments. Major beliefs. All world religions were inspired by aliens whom humanity mistook for gods. A special diplomatic base, the Elohim Embassy Complex, should be created on Earth to meet the aliens when they return. Mankind can achieve immortality through scientific progress, including cloning. Activities and controversies. In 2002, the cult claimed to have created the world's first cloned human, but no evidence was provided. Raelists promote sexual freedom and reject traditional religious dogma. Some governments have banned the movement due to accusations of manipulation and child abuse. Despite this, the cult remains active and has followers around the world. 15. The Order of the Eastern Templars. The Order of the Knights Templar, OTO, is a secret occult society that emerged in the late 19th century in Europe. It combines ritual magic, Masonic traditions, and the mystical teachings of ancient civilizations. The most famous leader of the OTO was Aleister Crowley, a British occultist and founder of the Thelema philosophy. He claimed to have received a revelation from a supernatural being named Evus, which became the basis for his book, The Book of Law, Liber al vel legis. Basic principles of the cult. The main motto of Thelema is, "Do what you will, let it be the law." Belief in higher spiritual powers that can impart knowledge to selected people. Sexual magic and esoteric rituals as a way to achieve enlightenment. Activities and influence. The OTO has had a significant influence on 20th century occult organizations. Cult members undergo complex initiation rituals that supposedly reveal hidden knowledge. In today's world, OTO remains active, especially in the environment of esoteric practices and the occult. 16. Cult of the Secret Word. This cult was founded in 1979 in the United States by preacher Jane Whitemeyer. It began as an ordinary Christian community, but later turned into a totalitarian sect that controlled the lives of its members. Basic rules of the cult. Prayer sessions during which people were beaten, believing it to be a method of exorcism. A complete ban on watching television, the internet, and even medical care. Members of the cult were not allowed to leave the community or communicate with relatives who were not in the sect. Scandals and consequences. Former members reported physical abuse, including the beating of children. The FBI investigated the cult due to numerous allegations of abuse. Despite this, the Word of Faith Fellowship still exists and is influential in the United States and Brazil. 17th. Luciferian Order. A cult that believes in Lucifer as an enlightener. Luciferianism is a religious and philosophical movement that differs from traditional Satanism. Its supporters do not consider Lucifer to be evil, but see him as a symbol of light, knowledge, and freedom. The main beliefs of the cult. Lucifer is not a demon, but an enlightener who gave humanity knowledge, for which he was expelled by God. Belief in self-development, spiritual improvement, and knowledge of the true nature of the universe. Rejection of the tenets of traditional religions, especially Christianity. Rituals and activities. Meditations aimed at opening the inner light. Use of magical practices for personal development. Some branches of the cult use satanic symbolism, but do not worship Satan. Luciferianism has many different trends, from philosophical to magical and ritualistic. The cult remains active and popular among esotericists. 18. The Doorway to Heaven, a cult that believed in salvation through suicide. The Doorway to Heaven was an American cult that operated in the 1970s and 1990s and became known for the mass suicide of its members in 1997. It was founded by Marshall Applewhite, who convinced his followers that their souls were to leave Earth and ascend to a spaceship following the comet Hale-Bopp. The main beliefs of the cult: the Earth is coming to an end, and salvation is possible only through going beyond the human. Aliens are watching humanity and will take only the chosen ones. Members of the cult must renounce earthly life, including sexual relations and material possessions. The tragic ending. In March 1997, 39 cult members committed mass suicide by taking poison and strangling themselves with cellophane bags. Their bodies were found in a rented house, all wearing black clothes and identical sneakers. They considered suicide a transitional stage to a higher existence. The Door to Paradise became one of the most famous cults of the 20th century because of its radicalism and tragic end. 19th, Solomon's Temple, a cult of pseudo-Templars. The Temple of Solomon is a modern occult organization that positions itself as the spiritual heir of the medieval Templars. It was created in the early 2000s and is based on mystical and Kabbalistic traditions. The main beliefs of the cult: belief in the ancient wisdom of the Templar order, which was hidden from humanity, the use of Kabbalism and ritual magic for spiritual growth, striving to create an ideal society through secret knowledge. Activities and influence. The organization has thousands of followers in Europe and the United States. It conducts occult rituals, lectures, and training for its members. Many experts consider it dangerous due to mind manipulation and control over members. Although the Temple of Solomon is not as radical as other cults, its influence continues to grow among fans of the occult and esoteric knowledge. 20. The Brotherhood of the Serpent, an ancient cult of world control. The Brotherhood of the Serpent is a secret occult society that, according to some theories, has existed for thousands of years. It is mentioned in mystical texts as an organization that controls world events through hidden knowledge. The main beliefs of the cult: they believe that true knowledge was passed on to humanity in ancient times, but was hidden from ordinary people. They worship the snake as a symbol of wisdom, enlightenment, and transformation. Some believe that this group manipulates world leaders, financiers, and organizations. Conspiracy theories about the Brotherhood of the Serpent. Some believe they have ties to the Illuminati and the Freemasons. There are hypotheses that they influence the development of religions and political systems. Ufologists suggest that this cult may have a connection with the reptilians, an alien race that controls humanity. Although there is no concrete evidence of the existence of the Brotherhood of the Serpent, this idea remains one of the most popular conspiracy theories. 21. The White Brotherhood is a cult of humanity's teachers. The White Brotherhood is a mystical movement that believes that the world is ruled by spiritual teachers who guide the evolution of humanity. Its concept appeared in the 19th century and developed in the 20th century. The main ideas of the cult: there are great teachers, highly developed spirits or beings who influence the course of history. They believe in spiritual ascension, karma, and reincarnation of souls. The goal of the Brotherhood is to prepare humanity for a new level of consciousness and harmony. Different movements of the White Brotherhood. Theosophy, 19th century, founded by Helena Blavatsky, popularized the idea of teachers who transmit knowledge to humanity. The New Age movement. Some followers believe that the White Brotherhood is preparing the earth for a global spiritual awakening. The White Brotherhood in Ukraine. In the 1990s, there was a religious sect of the same name in Kyiv, led by Yuri Krivanohov and Marina Tsvihun. They predicted the end of the world and created mass hysteria. Although the White Brotherhood is mainly associated with esotericism and spiritual teachings, its concepts continue to influence modern mystical and religious movements. Satanic cults are not just scary fairy tales. They are a reality that exists in the shadows of our society. Their rites, rituals, and mysteries may seem attractive, but it is always worth remembering that true power is not darkness, but light. If you enjoyed this episode and want more stories about secret cults, conspiracies, and thought-provoking stories, please like, subscribe, and write in the comments what else you want to learn about.